I believe you're sitting on a gold mine. I was hosting a workshop yesterday based on what I'm shooting this video, and it was all about how to scale your business with social media ads. And I want to share some lessons from that I think will really apply to you as well. Before we dive in, just in case you don't know me, my name is Yuri Kim. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals and coaches build scalable coaching businesses that transform more lives. And I want to help you understand that your business is the ultimate investment vehicle you have. I'm going to give you a couple examples. So I was sharing a slide in this workshop yesterday, and I was comparing stocks, real estate, and in our case, a perfect client pipeline / social media ads. And I said, okay, if you started off with a $10,000 investment in stocks, your average rate of return over a year is about 8%. If we look at real estate, maybe 20%, right, within the context of a year. But if we look at what's possible, at least for our clients, with a perfect client pipeline running social media ads on the front end of that, the average rate of return is 314%. So why, I don't understand why so many people will throw all of their life savings into mutual funds, index funds, stocks, and they have no control over any of that. Do you know the CEO and founder of the companies you're investing in? Probably not, right? Yet you know you better than anyone else. And I want to help you understand that your business and you as an individual, you're the best investment you can ever make, not in Coca-Cola or whatever companies, are on the stock market. And I'm not here to say you shouldn't invest in index funds or whatever. If you want to have a bit of safety, that's fine. But the reality is I was looking at my portfolio, because I do have money obviously in those funds. So my portfolio, I'm trying to look at the average rate of return, the growth over the past 12 months has been just over 5%. And that's mostly on index funds of various categories. 5%. Think about this. If you invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in business coaching or in your own business and you only grew 5%, would you be satisfied with that? Would you be stoked? No, you'd probably be pissed. You'd be like, this is the biggest scam of all time. Yet, when I look at our business, so Healthpreneur, as of this video, we've grown 54% year to date compared to last year. 54%. Okay, so that's almost a 50% increase of where we were at this time last year. Why would I not continue reinvesting in my business? Why would I not continue going all in on the business? When we look at our clients, the average rate of return is 314%. So let me just come back to that example. So I said $10,000 invested, right? Stocks, real estate, and then perfect client pipeline / social media ads. So on the stock front, $10,000 at an 8% return gives you $10,800, right? Total value of the portfolio. With with real estate, if it was a 20% growth, and I'm looking over the course of a year here, okay? I'm not talking about if you sat on a house for 40 years. In the course of 12 months, 20% growth maybe on a real estate, okay? So 20% of 10K is 12, or 2K plus the investment is 12 total. So $12,000, right? Book value or market value. But when you look at the perfect client pipeline as a vehicle within your business, and we're running ads on the front end, a 314% return is $31,000 roughly on a $10,000 spend. So if you have $10,000, so here's the other thing too, is that to invest in stocks or real estate, mostly it's cash, right? Now, obviously you can invest in real estate with leverage and whatever, but if you put a down payment on something, that is cash. Now, here's the cool thing about advertising. You don't need cash. You just need a credit card. Now, you might say, well, what if I don't pay off the balance? Oh my God, God forbid you have a balance on your credit card and you have to pay some interest. Again, it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. So in this workshop yesterday, I was talking about the reality of running ads. If you don't know what you're doing, do not invest in ads. You will lose your shirt. And I also said, I want you guys to play out this scenario. I want you to imagine yourself having invested $5,000 in ads and you have nothing to show for it. No money, no return, nothing. Email list that's growing, sure, but no enrollments. And I want you to, so I asked them, I'm like, how would you feel? How would you feel in that situation? And some people said, worried, frustrated, angry, etc. And my message was, you have to be okay dealing with risk. if you want big returns, right? Because your business, although it is an amazing vehicle, if you don't know what you're doing, it also becomes a very volatile and risky vehicle. And that's why a lot of people don't even invest in their business in the first place. So they do things like they invest their time into creating endless amounts of content because there's no quote unquote downside, other than the fact that you spend all of your time doing that, which is ultimately the biggest downside. So you can always make money back. You can't make more time back. Like if I look at how much money I have paid in interest since I was in my 20s, it's actually kind of shocking. It's got to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like it's really like not ideal, but it got me exactly to where I am today. And I would change none of that. Like I still don't understand how people can consider themselves business owners and not own a business credit card. Like what are you doing? I mean, it's ridiculous. We've spoken with people, and I remember one lady in particular, this was hilarious. She wanted to work with us, but she needed the money to hit the bank first. So she's like, no, I have a partner. He's, loaning, like the money's coming in. It's all good. And then our team member who she was speaking with said, okay, cool. Like, is it an investor or like a family member? And she's like, no, it's the universe. And he's like, oh, so the money's coming in from the universe. And she's like, yeah, totally, 100%. And then he said, well, if you know it's coming, why don't we just get your first payment down today, and then you can pay off the balance when the money comes in. And then she was like, well, that's not how I work, blah, blah, blah. Guess what happened with this lady? Fucking nothing. Is that a surprise? You see, like, it's ridiculous. Like, people, like, you think you're actually running a business like that, where your silent partner is the universe? Like, legit, that's your business plan? And guys, like, I'm all about law of attraction, high vibes, all that good stuff. But, like, you got to be pragmatic and like, just practical to say, you live on planet Earth, okay? If you are not willing to invest in your business, you got to reevaluate, like, what you're doing here. Like, being able to run ads without any cash up front is an absolute miracle. It's unbelievable. So I was sharing yesterday. So, we have however many people are on the workshop. I'm like, well, why should you guys listen to me? Like, why do I have any type of authority to even teach you guys about Facebook ads or Instagram ads? And so I walked them through some of our track record. We've 84 consecutive months positive ROI on our ads, which means every single month we invest north of about $200,000 to $300,000, and that continues to grow. And every single month for the past almost 7 years, we have been ROI positive within 30 days. So it's not like we're banking. I'm not saying we're profitable on total contract value. I'm talking about if we invest $1, we make more than $1 within 30 days. So if you have a credit card and you have a balance, whatever the balance is, you put, let's say, $10,000 on your Visa or Amex or whatever it is. If you know what you're doing, you pay off that balance before the balance is even due, because you use leverage through credit, and credit is a form of leverage, which buys you speed. Your ads get more visibility. People see your stuff. More people book calls with you. And if you're decent on the phone, you enroll a couple clients. So if you spend $10,000 and you get, I'll just give you some basic math here. So let's say you have $200 per call booked, which is a little bit on the high side, but let's just go with that. 10,000 divided by 200 is 50 calls. If you have 50 calls, and let's assume you have a show-up rate of 80%, let's call it 40 calls are conducted. And on those 40, you do okay, and you enroll 20%. That's 8 people. If you charge $3,000 times 8, that's $24,000. On a $10,000 spend, you made $24,000. So what do? You pay off the balance right away. But Yuri, what if it doesn't work out like that right away? Who fucking cares? Eat some interest for a month or two. That's called running a business. It's called the cost of doing business. It's called taking calculated risks. What are you going to pay on $10,000? Worst case scenario, you pay 19.99%. So you pay $2,000 in interest. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. But if that $10,000, which is now, let's call it $12,000 because of the interest, yields $24,000, why wouldn't you do that all day, every day, right? So like, this is the mindset I'm talking about. It's like, you are sitting on a gold mine. I talk with my clients on a daily basis about this stuff. I look at their critical numbers so we can see exactly what all the metrics look like through their pipeline. I see how much money they're spending. I see exactly how much they're making at the bottom and every step in between. And I ask myself, why don't you have an extra zero on the end of the ad spend? So one of our clients, Carissa, $18,000 spent, $68,000 in profit on $18,000 spend. So I was like, why don't, like, you've won the lottery. Like, all of your numbers look incredible. You have won the lottery. And the challenge is that she was comfortable. And I said to her, what would get you super excited? Like, what is something that you want to bring to life in this world? And she's like, I'd love to buy a lake house. I'm like, let's talk about that. And so we talked about what it would cost for her to get that lake house. And we reverse engineered her number down to the exact amount of ad spend every single day that would be required to book the calls that she needed to enroll the clients to ultimately achieve the outcome. This is the beautiful thing about when you're running ads, is that when you're tracking your numbers properly, you can literally reverse engineer your future. So if you want to build $1 million business or a $100,000 business or $1 billion business or whatever it is, you know exactly what it takes to get there based on the fact that you have a history of data. Now, obviously on day one, you don't have that data yet, but after about 30 days, 60 days, you're going to have numbers, you're going to have data. And when those numbers look good, it's as close as you can get to winning the lottery. Like, I really want you to understand, again, I grew Healthpreneur from $0 to $1 million in 7 weeks back in 2017. It took me 7 years to do that in my first business without advertising. And again, I don't think you should advertise if you don't know what you're doing. Like, don't just go boost content. Like, you have to have the stuff dialed in. And this is why people come to work with us, because we are the best in the world at this for health professionals, right? Do you know the 11 critical numbers to track? Probably not. Do you know the 5 conversion trouble spots and how to fix each one? Do you know what your metrics should be for your market and when to turn off ads when they're out of KPI, what the KPI should be in the first place? Or how to scale winning ads? So if you have an ad that's doing well, do you know how to scale it so you can actually maintain the ROI as you grow? Probably not. We do, because we do this in our own business and we teach exactly what we do. So our clients come to us because we have a recipe. And does it mean that when you start running ads, you're guaranteed to get the same results? Not at all, right? We have clients that spend a couple $1,000s before they make a return. We have other clients right away, it goes crazy. And so what are some of the factors there? Well, there's different things like your messaging and your offer, right? How much time you have to take enrollment calls. If you have a lot of time for calls, well, guess what? You'll have a lot of calls. I'll share a story about that in a second. And how good you are on the phone. Like, if you suck at sales, guess what? You have to take some calls to get better and then lean in for coaching to get feedback. So a couple of years ago, one of our clients, Richard, he posted, the first post he posted in our group was celebrating the fact that they were just about $15,000 in the hole. In 2 weeks, they spent $15,000. No calls conducted, no enrollments. And they were celebrating that. Do you know why? Because they had 95 calls booked. So 95 calls booked on that spend, whatever the math ends up being. So they start there, and that was their first post. And when they posted that, him and his business partner, Ryan, when they posted that, I was like, these guys are going to go to the moon, because that was the mindset. I could see the mindset. I'm like, they understand the game. They understand this investment and what it's about to yield. So 95 calls on the calendar. So they turn that initial investment, and obviously they continue investing. And in the space of 3 months, they go from $0 to $358,000 per month. Now, when we share these numbers, people are like, oh, there's no way they can be helping people. They're scamming people. I'm like, no, you're just fucking closed-minded and you have no clue how to run a business. And you actually think that making money is at the expense of people, which is why you will never do anything with your business, because you have a fucked up mindset. The reality is the more money you make, the more people you're helping. So they went on from that to build a $65 million business in the health space. Do you think that's a pretty good investment? You better believe it is, right? So you are sitting on a gold mine, but the two things: one, you have to invest in you. You have to increase the capacity for what you're capable of. If you're not making the money you want, well, you're getting exactly what you deserve. You're getting exactly what you can handle right now. Like, if you want to fill up this mason jar with water, right? If you want a mason jar full of water, but right now you're only getting a cup full of water, it's because you don't have the capacity for the mason jar. You're not who you need to be yet. And part of that comes to your mindset. So again, going back to the question, if you are $5,000 in the hole, are you going to freak out? Are you going to go into a panic? I understand that's not an insignificant amount of money, but it's also not a lot of money. And it's all relative. But this is why business is such a beautiful platform to grow, because it's easy to post online. There's no downside other than losing your time. But as soon as you start spending your money or using credit, that's when people really start to fucking lose it. And the thing here is that that's the best opportunity for you to grow. To get to it, you have to go through it. If you want to get better results, you have to grow, and you're not going to grow by staying comfortable. So why I love advertising when you have the right system, support, coaching, feedback, is that it forces you. It's a forced growth tool. You will get uncomfortable. You're like, oh my God, I just spent $100 a day. Is this going to work? Like, you don't know it. You don't have the faith that maybe I have, right? I tell my team, guys, we have no budget. We just have to fix a couple constraints and we go. Like, we'll be spending millions of dollars. I promise you this. We will be spending millions of dollars per month in advertising shortly. Millions. And then I want to be spending tens of millions per month. It's never going to stop. I want to take over the world. Obviously, in a very positive way. But the key here is like, why would you not spend as much as you possibly can if you're making more than what you invest, especially in the first 30 days, right? It's such an amazing tool that you have as an individual, as a business owner. So you invest in your own skills. You invest in building your mind to handle uncertainty, to handle chaos, to handle challenges. That's how you become better. And then you have the vehicle of your business, especially when you have a system like a perfect client pipeline in your business that works 90% on autopilot for you and does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Yeah, you make some tweaks and you massage and you make things like, it's like you have to drive the car, but it's largely doing the work for you. When you have these two things, like you don't need to play the lottery. You don't need to buy lottery tickets. You are the lottery. But the thing is that it's not a lottery. It's certain. Because the most powerful investment you can ever make is in yourself. And I'm sure you've probably invested thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in formal education. Where did that get you? It got you a nice piece of paper on the wall, some technical skills. But unless you want to really put that to use, your business skills have to match your technical skills. And so you have to be willing to invest in your business. You have to be willing to invest in your business acumen. Because if you don't, you will be the best kept secret that no one knows about. And that's frustrating. And you should be really pissed off about that because you're awesome at what you do, I'm assuming. And the very fact that most people don't even know you exist should drive you absolutely fucking crazy. So on that note, I'll leave it there. I'd love to know your feedback in the comments below, what you think for you is the best investment. And I really want you to sit on this. Like, you are the gold mine. And if you'd like some help with this, let me know below. And obviously we can certainly help you out with seeing if this would be a good fit. But nonetheless, thanks for hanging out. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of #winning, and I'll see you in the next episode. There are many bad habits that can sabotage your business growth. Today, I want to share what I believe to be 3 of the biggest ones. And if you value growing your business, if you value feeling good at the end of the day and knowing that you're doing good things in your business and making progress, then I think this will really hit home for you.